with the print command in Java. So let's say I want to have 2 lines of text. Let's say I wanted to say hello world, and then I want to say on the next line it's a new day. So let's see what happens when I do another line, system out print, and then I type in hello world. Oh, sorry, hello world is there. So I'm going to put it's a new day. So I'm going to put a little smiley face at the end like this, close the quotation. Okay, so remember I must compile it. So let me go ahead and let me clear all that, and let me go ahead and run. Okay, so as we can see, when it compiled and when I ran it, it's all on one line. Just because my code's on 2 separate lines doesn't mean that that's how it's going to print. So there are a couple things that I can do to change this. Instead of just doing print, because print's going to print on one continuous line, I can put an ln right after the print on my first line, which means I'm going to print that as a line. So again, I'm going to compile it, and then I'm going to run, and you can see it now has my text on 2 separate lines. There's a third way I can do it, and this way is one way that you can do it if you're very clever, and I don't expect you to do this from the very beginning because it's a little confusing. So instead of having 2 lines of code that says system out print line and then system out print, I could very well have put print line right here as well. I can do system out print, let me get to the right place, print F, and that's for format. So let me go ahead and just get rid of all of this on the inside so you can see what it looks like when I type it, and I'm going to get rid of this whole second line here of code. So inside I'm going to tell, the first thing I'm going to tell the computer to do is to format. So I'm going to put a quotation mark, and then I'm going to do this percent symbol, and that percent symbol is a signal to the compiler that I want it to do something special. I'm going to put an S in for string. After that, I'm going to use this backslash and an N. Now that's telling the computer, right after you print that string, I want you to do a new line. And then again, I'm going to do that percentage mark, and I wanted to do another string, so I'm going to put an S. I'm going to close the quotation mark. I'm going to put a comma. And now I'm going to type what I wanted to type on my first line. So this £S right here before this backslash is my first line. So I'm going to put in hello world with my exclamation point. I'm going to close my quotation. I'm going to put a comma. So now I'm telling right after that comma, the computer knows it's going to do a new line because of this backslash N, and then it's going to print another string. So my new string, I'm going to put a quotation, and then I'm going to type, it's a new day. And I'm going to do my little smiley face like I had before, and I'm going to close the quote there. So let's go ahead and compile this. Hopefully I have no errors. It was complete. It didn't give me any errors. So now I'm going to run it, and we can see that it printed on 2 separate lines. Let me clear that, and let's do it again. If I run it, you can see it printed on 2 separate lines. So you could see that there were 2 different ways I could do this. I could do system out print line, putting ln, and then had 2 separate lines of code. Or I could have made 1 line of code, used a printf or print format, and then told it how it was to format, and then typed out my text. This is a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more complicated way of doing it. If you feel more comfortable doing it the other way, by all means do it this way. So you could do println, which means then I'm going to get rid of all the formatting code. I'll go ahead and do it like this. You could do it like this, like we had originally, on 2 separate lines. Just like that. Let me compile it, make sure there's no errors. I have no errors. That one there is the easier way to do it. So either way, if you want to challenge yourself, you can use a print format. If that's a little bit too confusing right now, you can simply do 2 lines of code.